Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to our brothers who are fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to the sincere Akwath. Shalom to the scattered Israelites who are amongst these heathen nations and look like these heathens. Now, this is going to be a quick Iran war update. So through the Spirit, I'm going to read some of this article, get some precepts, and Lord's will, you are edified. Salakia. Right, it says U.S. Central Command says it concluded its latest round of attacks on Iran to take out coastal military installments, targeting commercial shipping that lasted 90 minutes. More than 30 civilians have been killed and 260 wounded in U.S. attacks on southern Iran over the past few days, Iranian officials say. A 13-missile barrage fired by the United States in the south has killed 7 Iranian troops in what the military called cowardly aggression while vowing retaliation. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps says it attacked U.S. military assets in Bahrain, Kuwait, and Jordan and claimed heavy damage on the U.S. Fifth Fleet headquarters. So things are really getting so things are heating up out there, which is to be expected considering it is a war going on. You know, people want to just call it a conflict, but it's a war. That's why it's called the Iran War. See, people think calling it a conflict makes it sound less serious, but it's like people are still dying, destruction is still being caused, people are still suffering. Like, it doesn't matter what you call it, you know, at the end of the day, it's still chaos and a lot of people are dying. Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Jumping down to verse 8. A time to love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time of peace. And we are clearly living in a time of war. That's why Iran and the U.S. cannot actually have peace talks that go anywhere or a ceasefire that actually lasts. Because we're not in a time of peace. We are in a time of war. So, you know, the missile strikes back and forth are going to keep happening. The U.S. is going to keep attacking Iran. Iran is going to keep firing back on them. Or the U.S. military, I should say, because Iran doesn't currently have the means to hit mainland U.S. But the warships and the soldiers and the military bases that are over there, Iran can hit them. You know? And then, you know, as far as Israel and Lebanon is concerned, you know, Israel is going to keep bombing Lebanon. So, yeah, it's just going to continue to be chaos in the so-called Middle East. Luke 12:51. Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you nay, but rather division. And we see that. The U.S. is against Iran, Israel is against Lebanon, and then within the U.S., you know, you have people divided. You know, there are some people that are very much for this war and they want this war to happen and they're cheering it on. They're cheering on the U.S. attacking Iran. And then you have the other side that's not okay with that. and understands that this is an illegal war or an illegal conflict. So, you have people that are divided against each other. On a smaller level, you have governments divided against each other, which is resulting in chaos and conflict and war. And then you have the citizens that are divided against each other. You have some people, like I said, that are okay with what's happening and they're cheering it on. And then you have other people that are like, this is crazy, because the people who end up suffering the most when these wars happen are the civilians. Their loved ones are getting killed, their kids are getting killed, their homes are being destroyed. And these are people that are not soldiers. They don't have anything to do with the war. They're just casualties of, the government's conflict with someone else's government. But this is ultimately what the Lord wants. Because like it says in 2 Timothy 3:1, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. And you look up the definition of perilous, and it means full of danger or risk. It means dangerous, hazardous, unsafe, hard to bear. And those are clearly the times that we're in. Dangerous, unsafe, hard to bear times. Because things are just getting worse. The violence is increasing. The strain on economies is increasing. The love of many is waxing colder. And, once again, more violence amongst the people is increasing. More division amongst the people is increasing. People are really going through it out here. And it's just going to get continuously worse. Because all of this chaos and death and destruction and misery is merely the Lord pouring out his wrath upon the earth to ultimately punish the wicked people with whom he is angry with, regardless of where in the world they are, and regardless of if they are men, women, or children, because the Lord is no respecter of persons. So we can expect this conflict to continue to increase and get more serious, and more people are going to die, and more destruction is going to be caused. Billions, if not trillions of dollars worth of destruction on both sides. But this is what the Heavenly Father wants. So this is exactly how things are playing out. Exodus 15:3, the Lord Yahweh is a man of war. The Lord Yahweh is his name. And that's right, the Heavenly Father is a man of war. This is what he wants. He does not want there to be peace in the quote-unquote Middle East. That's why there is no peace. That's why every time there is a ceasefire, it all just collapses. There will only be peace once the kingdom of heaven is established. And when the kingdom of heaven is established, the U.S. won't exist. The Lord is going to wipe this wicked place off the face of the earth via thermonuclear destruction. And he's going to cleanse the land of Israel of those heathens that are in that land right now. Because those are not the Israelites. Those are not the Lord's chosen people. For the most part, anyway. There are some of our people, Israelites, who are scattered amongst them. But the majority of them are heathens. And they're Edomites and they're other nations. They are not the Lord's people, and they do not belong in that land. And the Lord is going to cleanse them out of that land. once again via thermonuclear destruction. So for all you sincere brothers and sisters out there, just continue to watch, you know, stay on your watch and stay as up to date on current events as you can. Like, I understand that there's a lot going on. You can't possibly just stay on top of all of it. But, that's why the brotherhood is a good thing, because, brothers live all over the world and can give updates on different things. But yeah, we are living in the last days and things are intensifying, which actually should, boost your morale, knowing that we are closer and closer to the end, to the Lord destroying this wicked place and delivering us up out of here, Adawan Ratazah. We are of the elect. But with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. In closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rakakudash, the Wadi Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to the sincere Akwath, which are the sincere sisters, and shalom to the scattered Israelites who are amongst these heathen nations. Yes, that does include the Edomites as well, and who look like these heathen nations. Hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up, and Adawan Ratazah. Till next time, Shalom.